Dear viewers, welcome to our GVS Bank Academy. Today I am going to discuss CAB, Bank Financial Management, Part 7, questions 111 to 102. These are important questions, record questions. Question number 111, Going Concern Capital. Going concern capital means this capital can absorb losses without entering it of bankruptcy or without triggering of bankruptcy. The bank without entering into bankruptcy or insolvency, this capital can be absorbed or written off or adjusted this to the losses. What are the examples of going concern capital instruments? Common equity tier 1 capital instruments and additional tier 1 capital instruments. Both are called as going concern capital. These are the examination question December 2020. So going concern capital means without, if any bank losses are there, that losses are going to be written off from tier 1 capital and additional tier 1 capital without entering into bankruptcy. That is the meaning of going concern capital. Gone concern capital. Gone concern capital means at the time of bankruptcy only. This gone concern capital can be written off towards the losses at the time of bankruptcy only. After the bank entering into bankruptcy only, the gone concern capital is going to be adjusted, absorbed or written off. That is called gone concern. Examples of gone concern capital instruments, tier 2 capital instruments. Tier 2 capital instruments. This is the going concern capital and gone concern capital. That is question number 111. Question number 112. Mark to market. MTM. Market or marking to market is called market to market. Mark to market or mark to market is the process of valuing any financial assets or liability at current market shares. What is meant by MTM valuation? Market to market or mark to market or market or marking to market is the process of valuing the asset or liability at ruling current present market rates. That is called MTM valuation. MTM value is current market value of tradable instrument. It is a liability or asset. Normally and generally, trading book instruments are going to be carried out MTM valuation. Trading book valuations. Trading book investments are going to be valued MTM valuations. So that is the mark to market. Now, question number 113, market risk component. What are the market risk components? What market risk defines? Market risk consisting of interest rate risk means fluctuations in interest rate risk in the banking. Equity price. Equity price means investment prices. The bank is investing in investment. The prices are also going to be subject to fluctuation. That is called investments or equity price risk. Fluctuations in equity or investment prices is also called as market risk. And foreign exchange risk. Fluctuations in foreign currency also comes under market risk components. Foreign exchange risk means fluctuations in foreign currency, that is there. Commodity risk, fluctuations in commodity prices. In India, banks are not dealing with commodities. However, commodity risk fluctuations is also part of market risk. Finally, market risk consisting of fluctuation in interest rate, fluctuations in investment prices or equity investments, or fluctuations in foreign exchange rates and commodity risk. All will come under part of market risk. SWIFT, SWIFT, SWIFT. This is a secure worldwide financial messaging system exclusive to banks for transfer of funds. For transfer of funds 24/7, 365 days, this is working. So it is a secured worldwide financial messaging system exclusive to banks for transfer of funds, for messaging of information also. This is useful bank service. What is the abbreviation? SWIFT, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. SWIFT abbreviation, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. So this question also generally asking, simple question. Commercial paper. Commercial paper is very important for ABM and BFM also. For all the examinations, commercial paper is very, very important. Already separate video we had uploaded. The link is, this is the link. For the commercial paper, full discussion we had uploaded through this link, video, YouTube channel. Now, commercial paper is a unsecured money market instrument. Commercial paper is a unsecured money market and up to 1 year issued in the form of promissory note. It is just like a borrowing promissory note. CP shall be issued in minimum denomination of 5 lakhs in multiples of 5 lakhs. So 5 lakhs in multiples of 5 lakhs. It is the face value 5. CP shall be a minimum credit rating. External credit rating required is A3. For issue of commercial paper by any company or NBFC, external credit rating required is A3. Limit. How much a company, NBFC or primary dealer, All India Financial Institution can issue commercial paper? The limit. The amount sought to be raised under commercial paper shall be within the limits approved by the Board of Directors in their Board of Directors resolution, BOD resolution, or within the ceiling stipulated by credit rating agency. So at the time of issuing credit rating for short-term instruments, under this rating, how much the company is eligible for borrowing, they can issue. That is called that, whichever is lower. So Board of Directors resolution passed amount or within the ceiling stipulated by credit rating agency, whichever is lower. Now December 2020, they had asked this question. Buyback of commercial paper. Buyback. The buyback offer may not be made before 30 days from the date of issue. It means from the date of issuance of commercial paper, the company can buy back after 30 days. From the date of issue, after 30 days. Within 30 days from the date of issue, buyback is not allowed. That is the meaning of this. Then the buyback of commercial paper in full, the company can buy back in full or part. Entire amount it can buy back or part of the amount. Shall be at the prevailing market price only it has to buy back. So buyback is from the market. It has to be buyback from the prevailing market price. So overall commercial paper is very, very important. Sometimes they are asking case study, theory based case study for 5 marks. So all the participants are requested to go thoroughly about the commercial paper. For full discussion, please see our YouTube channel. This link is there. Now, this is 116 question number. Stock approach ratios. This is a Module D, a BFM Module D balance sheet, risk management, liquidity risk. For measurement of liquidity risk, stock approach and flow approach is there. Now we are discussing about stock approach. Stock approach is compulsory question for 5 marks. Almost all examinations they are asking this question. Stock approaches are used for measurement of liquidity risk. What are the various stock approaches? Total 9 stock approach ratios are there, but most important ratios we are discussing 5. Ratio of core deposits to total assets. Ratio of core deposits to total assets. Here core deposits means the bank's deposits from the normal course of business from the public. Deposit from the public. Whatever the deposit canvassed from the public, that is called core deposits. To total assets of the bank. So when compared to total assets, in comparison ratio of core deposits must be more. So this ratio, more the ratio is better it is. So from the stock approach liquidity management point of view, total asset to core deposit higher side is best. It means out of total assets, public deposits, core deposits higher side is best. That's why more the ratio better it is. Now net loans to total deposits. Net total loans of the bank to total deposits of the bank. When compared to total deposits, net loans must be lower than the total deposits. That's why. So always credit deposit ratio. That is best example is credit deposit ratio. When compared to total deposits of the bank, net total loans must be lower than the total deposit. So lower the ratio, better it is. Lower the ratio, better it is. Now ratio of time deposit to total deposits. Time deposit means minimum 7 days, maximum up to 10 years. The bank can take the time deposits. So time deposit to total deposits. Ratio of time deposit to total deposits. Higher the ratio is better because out of total bank deposits, if any bank is having more time deposits, that will be from liquidity measurement point, that will be better. So higher the ratio, better it is. This is the ratio of time deposit to total deposits. Ratio of volatile liabilities means market borrowings, short-term market borrowing to total assets. If you are borrowing from short-term volatile liabilities and extending the loans, creation of assets, that is very dangerous situation. That's why ratio of volatile liabilities to total assets, lower the better ratio is better, or it is better, very low. You can say low now. Very lower the ratio is better. What is the meaning of this? Borrowing of funds from the money market, volatile money market, short term, and creation of total assets. Assets creation, that is not at all advisable. If it is there, lower the ratio is better. That is the one. Ratio of short term liabilities to liquid assets. Liquid assets means which can be converted into cash immediately without any loss. That is the liquid assets. Ratio of short term liabilities means deposits normally, the deposits up to less than 1 year, we can say short term liabilities to liquid assets. If we are borrowing more short term liabilities to liquid assets, that is adverse portion. So when compared to liquid assets of the bank, short term liabilities will be lower is the best. When compared to total liquid assets to short term liabilities, so always better. So short term liabilities are always less, lower to liquid assets to be lower. So these are the 5 ratios. They are asking 5 marks question case study measurement of liquidity risk. Stock approaches ratios are using for measurement of liquidity risk. Most important for case study also. Then now this question they had asked 5 marks question in December 2020. Case study they had given. I am discussing 2 points only. So first leg and second leg of a repo transaction. Repo means borrowing from other banks or borrowing from Reserve Bank of India. Repo, borrowing from other banks or Reserve Bank of India. Repo. At the time of borrowing, repo borrowing means that is first leg of the repo transaction. That is borrowing from RBI or borrowing from other banks. The first leg means borrowing of the repo transaction should be contracted at the prevailing market rate. So the first leg of the transaction is calculated at the prevailing market rates of the securities. Repo means borrowing from RBI against collateral security of SLR securities. So the SLR securities, prevailing market rates of the SLR securities, first leg transaction is going to be taken place. A little bit difficult question this is. And first leg means borrowing from RBI or other banks at the prevailing market rates of SLR securities. That is the first. Second leg means repayment leg. If any bank is borrowing, what is meant by repo? Borrowing with an obligation to repay. That's why they want to repay after 5 days, 10 days, 15 days. So at the time of repayment of the repo borrowing, that is called second leg. First leg is borrowing from others. Second leg is repaying to the repo borrowing. The prices for the second leg shall be so derived, means you had calculated. Derived means arrived. That the difference between the prices of first leg and second leg should be reflected the repo interest. Now, we had borrowed some amount under first leg. At the time of repayment, the amount, borrowing amount plus interest also you have to repay. That's why the difference between the first leg of repo transaction and the second leg of repo transaction is, first leg is borrowing from RBI or others, borrowing amount. Second leg, repayment of the borrowed amount along with interest. That is called second leg of transaction. This is a little bit difficult question, second leg of first leg. That's why the pass percentage is less also in December 2020, because this is very difficult question. So this is first leg, second leg. Now this is also December 20. Very tough question. Very tough means without knowing the principles of supervisory review and evaluation process, answering is very, very difficult or impossible. What is this? Which principles of supervisory review and evaluation process contains the role of supervisor? So very difficult question. Which principles? There are supervisory review evaluation process. 4 principles are notified by Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. Out of 4 principles, which principles contains, under which principle the role of supervisor will come? That is the question. Now, principle number 2, principle number 4. What is principle number 2? Supervisor means RBI should review and evaluate the bank's internal capital adequacy assessment. After preparation of the bank's internal capital assessment, bank is submitting to RBI. So RBI, as a monitoring supervisor, it will review and evaluate the bank's internal capital adequacy assessment, as well as their ability to monitor and ensure the compliance. And what is the level of compliance to RBI guidelines with regulatory capital ratios? Bank capital to regulatory capital. Whether the bank is maintaining the regulatory capital ratios. What are the regulatory capital ratios? Common equity tier 1 capital, additional tier 1 capital, and tier 2 capital. Common equity tier 1 capital 5.5 minimum, additional tier 1 capital 1.5 maximum, tier 2 capital 2% maximum, plus capital conservation buffer 2.5% of risk weighted assets. So whether the bank is compliance with the regulatory capital ratios or not, RBI will monitor. That is the principle number 2. Supervisor means RBI should take appropriate supervisory action if they are not satisfied. If at the time of calculation of bank any non-compliance are there, any deviations are there, any wrong calculations are there, the bank will, appropriate supervisory action will be taken against that bank for non-compliances. So that is called principle number 2, the role of the supervisor, principle number 2. Now, principle number 4. Supervisor RBI should seek to intervene at an early stage. So if anything going wrong in that bank, it will intervene at an early stage to prevent capital from falling below the minimum levels. The minimum levels of capital is 11.5% as of date. Any bank capital is falling below the minimum regulatory capital ratios, supervisor should seek to intervene at an early stage to prevent capital from falling below the minimum levels required to support the risk characteristics of a particular bank, and should require rapid remedial action if capital is not maintained or restored. If any bank is not maintaining the capital as per RBI stipulations, as per Basel III, the Reserve Bank will take rapid, means immediate remedial action against that bank if the bank is not maintaining the capital, is not maintained or restored. Restored means when the bank is unable to get the capital from the market or from the others. That's why. So principle number 2 is the Role of the supervisor, that is Reserve Bank of India in our country. And principle number 4, the role of the supervisor, that is RBI. So out of 4 principles, 2 principle number 2 and principle number 4, that is the role of supervisor. So my request to all the participants who are appearing for the CIB examination, all the 4 principles of supervisory review and evaluation process, they have to read line by line and understand carefully. Then only we can answer this question. Now, ALM, asset liability management, this is one of the major thing in the bank's asset liability management. ALM committee functions. What are the functions of ALM? Liquidity risk management. If any bank is facing a liquidity, that they have to manage that. Liquidity means unable to meet payment obligations. Management of market risk. Just now we are discussed forex risk, currency risk, rate of interest. Then equity market prices. That is trading risk management. Trading risk means trading risk in trading book. Trading risk management. They have to make. Funding. Whenever there is a requirement of funding, it have to raise the funding also. For the business needs, it have to raise funding. And capital planning. If the bank requires regulatory capital, in advance it has to plan for raising the capital from the market. That's why funding requirement as well as capital planning is also one of the ALM function. Profit planning and growth projection. Profit planning because the profitability depends upon the ALM only. If the ALM is good, net interest income, net interest margin and return on assets will improve. That's why accordingly profit planning. These are the question number 19. Question number 20, 120. What are the haircut percentages should be applied to the current market value of the securities for HQLA, high quality liquid assets, for the calculation of liquidity coverage ratio? This is also 5 marks question they had given. This question also 5 marks question they had given. Case study they had given. For the LCR calculation, separately we had uploaded in our YouTube channel. Anybody want to see? Please see. What are the haircut percentage applied for the high quality liquid assets? As per liquidity coverage ratio, total high quality liquid assets are divided into 2 parts. Total of the bank's high quality liquid assets are divided into 2. One is level 1, another one is level 2. Level 1 and level 2. Total bank's high quality liquid assets means which can be converted into cash immediately without any loss of time, without any value of the investments. Now this is going to be divided into 2 parts, level 1 and level 2. Level 1 assets are, level 1 assets means SLR securities, cash, gold equivalent, all government of India securities. These are level 1 assets can be included in the stock of high quality liquid assets without any limit. So at the time of creation of this level 1, there is no cap or higher limit and without any haircut. Since these are the government of India securities, there is no haircut provision for level 1 assets. Haircut means market value is 100 rupees. For example, we are taking 75 rupees value. So 25 rupees is the haircut. So that is the haircut. So for level 1 assets, no haircut. Number level 2, again level 1 and level 2. Level 2 again it has been divided into 2 parts, level 2A, level 2B. Level 2A assets and level 2B assets. Level 2A assets, minimum 15% of haircut should be applied to the current market value. Current market value is 100 rupees. Haircut means 15 rupees. So we can take 85 rupees for the level 2 assets calculation. So that is called haircut. A minimum 15% haircut should be applied to the current market value of each security under level 2 assets. What is meant by level 2 assets? These assets are AAA rated bonds, AA rated bonds, foreign government securities, commercial paper or the level 2A. Means AAA rated bonds or AA and above rated bonds plus commercial paper and foreign government issued bonds all will come under level 2A. Level 2A haircut is 15%. then to the current market value into minus 15, you will get the level 2A assets total. Level 2B assets. Level 2B assets. A minimum 50% haircut should be applied to the current market value. Level 2B. So, level 2B means these are listed NSE, National Stock Exchange, 50 shares, Bombay Stock Exchange, 30 shares are going to be taken into level 2B assets normally. So, these are the shares, the market value may fluctuate. That's why a minimum 50% haircut should be applied to the current market value. For example, current market value of a share, NSE 50 listed share, 100 rupees is there. You can reduce by 50%. Means you can take level 2B assets value 50 rupees only. So, a minimum 50% haircut should be applied to the current market value of each level should be L in the stock. These are the haircuts for level 1, no haircut, level 2A, 15% haircut, level 2B, 50% haircut. So, this is the case study, 5 marks case study they had given. Already we had uploaded LCR case study in our YouTube channel. So, these are the 10 questions. I think with this 10 questions, total we had uploaded 120 questions. In addition to these questions, in between we are also uploading some case studies. For the participants and for the forthcoming examinations, I think our channel will be very useful for the participants. My request to all, those people, those participants who had not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are also regularly conducting JAB, CAB classes for forthcoming examinations. Thank you very much for all for extending support to our channel. Thank you very much.